ASC and the 2MC.
I'm John Fairbow. I'll be doing the first negative, constructive, and cross-examination.
Are the judges ready? Negative team? Are the judges ready? Negative team? The timer is set to 8 minutes. Let's begin. A call comes in at midnight. A call that devastates parents every year. A call that your teenager has been killed in a car accident. The United States faces a major crisis on its roads. Motor vehicle crashes remain the leading cause of death among teenage drivers, placing themselves and other drivers at risk. Good morning. My partner, Serenity Donaldson, and I, Avery Hodes, stand for the resolution the United States federal government should establish a uniform legal driving age of 18 years old. Observation 1, definitions. In order to make sure we are all on the same page for this debate round, let's define some key terms that we will use in our round today. Definition 1, operator's license. A license issued by a state authorizing an individual to operate a motor vehicle on public roads. Source, National Driver Registration, gov.info.gov. Definition 2, provisional license. Serves as an intermediate step in the graduated driver licensing system to bridge the gap between a learner's permit and a full, unrestricted driver's license. Source, legalclarity.org. Definition 3, driving age. It permits the independent operation of a vehicle without limitations, issued after passing all required tests and meeting age and experience criteria. Source, nhtsa.gov. Observation 2, harms. Now that we have covered our important terms, let's look at some major problems that are present in the current system. My first harm is highest crash rates. Quote, drivers ages 16 to 17 are almost 3 times more likely than those 18 to 19 to be involved in a fatal car crash. Source, Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. Impact. Therefore, allowing 16 to 17-year-olds to begin driving puts both themselves and other drivers on the road at a significantly higher risk for injury and death. Quote, teen drivers have a higher rate of fatal crashes because they speed, make mistakes, and engage in more risky behaviors when driving with friends in the car. Source, National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Impact. Because 16-year-olds are less mature than 18-year-olds, by comparison, they generally make worse decisions, take more risks, do not take driving as seriously, and are more likely to give in to peer pressure while driving. Quote, driving in unfamiliar areas drastically increases crash risk. Source, University of Illinois Chicago, 2024. Impact. Currently, 16-year-olds licensed in states like South Dakota or Alaska can drive unrestricted in any state, including cities like New York or Los Angeles, although local laws prohibit driving under 18. This inconsistency creates confusing and dangerous loopholes, undermining local safety rules and increasing risk. This leads me to my second harm, which is distracted driving. Quote, 75% of serious teen driver crashes are due to critical errors, such as not detecting and responding to hazards, going too fast for road conditions, and being distracted by anything inside or outside the vehicle. Source, AAA Foundation for Traffic Safety. Impact. Teens underestimate the dangers of driving and make reckless choices. They are easily distracted by cell phones, passengers, music, and food, all of which pull focus from driving. Observation 3, plan. We can clearly see that there are some major problems in our current system. Now let's turn our attention to the solution in our plan. Plan. The affirmative team will be solving these problems by increasing the legal driving age to 18 years old. Mandate 1. Congress will pass a law establishing 18 as the minimum unrestricted licensing age nationwide. Mandate 2. States will retain authority to set the age requirement for learner's permits and hardship licenses. Mandate 3, learner's permits must be held at least 1.5 years before getting a provisional license. Mandate 4, permit or provisional holders cannot drive out of state. Mandate 5, all teens under 18 must complete a supervised GDL program to get their permit and provisional license. Mandate 6, the minimum supervised driving hours must exceed 150 hours, 20 of which must take place after sunset. Mandate 7, states will have 2 years to comply. Agency, National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Funding, NHTSA will continue to fund GDO programs to ensure effective driving education. Enforcement, it will be monitored and enforced by the local and state police department. Observation 4, advantages. Now let us explain the advantages that will come from the passing of our plan. My first advantage is increase of experience. Quote, car accident prevention begins with helping teens gain the experience and skills necessary to stay safe on the road. Source, chop.edu. Quote, states with nighttime driving restrictions show crash reductions of up to 60% during restricted hours. Evaluations clearly show the benefits of adopting GDL laws and GDL components. Source, National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, 2025. Impact, keeping GDL laws and restrictions in place until 18 will significantly reduce crashes while giving younger teens more time to practice driving with restrictions before their full unrestricted license at 18. My second advantage is more maturity. Quote, ultimately, drivers could eliminate 36% of U.S. crashes if they no longer texted while driving, highlighting the life-saving impact of distraction-free drivers. Source, University of Arkansas, uark.edu. Impact, with more restrictions, experience, and time for teens to mature, the number of crash rates will significantly be lowered because older teens can resist distractions, are responsible, and more mentally developed. In conclusion, younger drivers are too irresponsible, immature, and inexperienced to have a full license because they are distracted and not focused on the road. Evidence shows that 18-year-olds are more mature and capable of driving and therefore get in fewer car accidents. Thus, my partner Serenity Donaldson and I, Avery Hodes, strongly urge the judges to vote for the resolution that the United States federal government should establish a uniform legal driving age of 18 years old. Thank you. I'm now ready for cross-examination. Stopping the timer with 52 seconds.
Three-minute timer starting now. What was your first term? Are you aware that accidents also increase at the age of 18 from the CDC?
Yes, but our plan gives teens more experience, which will help. Yes, but our plan gives teens more experience, which is the main reason 18-year-olds get in crash rates as well.
But wouldn't you agree that the experience level is always at zero whenever you begin?
Can you repeat the question?
Wouldn't you agree that the experience level is always at zero no matter what age you begin?
Well, if you get more experience with age, and 18-year-olds are more mature than 16-year-olds, then that should help 18-year-olds have a lower crash rate.
Yes, but their experience will still always begin at zero, correct?
Yes, I suppose.
And are you aware that the raising rates of accidents are already being addressed?
No, but it's not. Yes, I mean, yes, but it's not enough for the teens.
Can adults be distracted too?
Yes, but that's not the resolution.
How do you plan to get the states to agree?
They have 2 years to comply.
No further questions.
Judges, the affirmative team's plan will not work to solve the issues they assert and will only cause other issues. First of all, the negative team accepts the affirmative team's definitions. However, the harms do have a couple problems. First of all, they say high crash rates. The CDC actually reports that for the first and second quarters of 2025, crash rates are coming down from programs already in place, such as graduated driving licenses. Also, they say that teenage drivers are distracted, but almost all people are distracted while driving. And some general issues are, say, if you go to college at 18, you barely just have your license, and the first few months of driving alone are the most dangerous. And if you're in college with your friends and you just have your license, that's very dangerous. And considering you can go to the military at 17, you will only have your permit, so what will you do then? Also, the plan won't work because if the states don't comply, they're going against the Constitution, the state's constitutional rights, and the Supreme Court can't allow that to pass. Also, their advantages won't work because driving don't really make sense because driving alone is the most dangerous too, and adults are also distracted. Therefore, my partner and I urge you to vote against the resolution for the driving age to be raised to 18. Thank you. Yeah, thank you. I'm now ready for cross-examination.
Starting timer at 3 minutes. You would agree that drivers aged 16 to 17 have significantly higher crash rates than drivers aged 18 or older?
Yes.
According to research, this higher risk is linked to immaturity, risk-taking, and distractions, correct?
Yes.
So giving a full unrestricted license to 16 or 17-year-olds is not a safe idea, is it?
Yes, but how are you going to make that work?
Are you aware that with the current system, states train teens according to their own conditions, but not exposing teens to all road conditions? So when they are moving or driving in a different state, they cannot readily adjust because they do not have the training for it, right?
Could you repeat the question?
Are you aware that with the current system, states train teens according to their own conditions, like driving on twisty roads in Arkansas, parallel parking in Texas, or driving in snow in Colorado, and not exposing teens to all road conditions, so when they are moving or driving to a different state, they cannot readily adjust because they do not have the training for it?
Yes.
Isn't it true that the current system allows these mismatch situations regularly?
No.
You'd agree that drivers' inexperience with complex road environments poses safety concerns, right?
Yes.
Thank you. I have no further questions. Affirmative, prep time starting at 5 minutes.
stopping the permanent set time at 1 minute and 20 seconds. Are the judges ready? Negative team. The timer is set to 8 minutes. Let's begin. Every year, teens are allowed to drive without supervision, and every year, families are tortured with the loss of their son, daughter, brother, or sister. Teen drivers lack the capability and maturity to drive safely and effectively. Additionally, the current system fails to give teens necessary experience before throwing them on the road where their lives and other people's lives are endangered. Therefore, my partner Avery Hodes and I, Serenity Donaldson, strongly urge the judges to vote for the resolution the United States federal government should establish a uniform legal driving age of 18 years old. Observation 2, harms. My opponent said, according to CDC, crash rates are coming down with GDL, but our plan keeps GDL in place and it will help to continue to lower crash rates. At the moment, a 16-year-old with a full license can drive anywhere in the United States, including places like New York City and LA, unrestricted at any time of day or night. When we raise the driving age to 18, the teens can keep a provisional license, but they will be unable to drive in other states where in New York, the driving age, you cannot drive in New York City until you're 18, whereas an out-of-state teen can drive in New York City before. And so it will be removing confusion. Also, with the young driver age group, 16 to 17-year-olds stand out with much higher crash rates than older teenagers and all other age groups. Transportation Research Board.org. Impact: because 16 and 17-year-olds have the highest crash rates, targeting this age group with stricter licensing and safety measures will result in substantial reductions in overall teen crash statistics. By focusing on improving training, supervision, and delaying full licensure until 18, we are addressing the highest risk drivers directly, leading to safer roads and fewer economic social costs associated with teen crashes. Our second harm is distracted driving. My opponent said all people can get distracted, and this is true. And he also said that college, when you get your license, you'll be going into college and you'll have your license for the first time. But our plan allows teens to have a permit, and once they've had a permit for a year and a half, they can get a provisional license, and so they will get to drive by themselves, not completely unrestricted, but with some restrictions, so they will have plenty of practice before they go to college. Quote, graduated driver licensing laws that restrict cell phone use and limit passengers for young drivers have been shown to reduce distracted driving and lower crash rates among teens. Bans on wireless device use for drivers under 18 help minimize distractions and improve safety. This is from Teen Driver Children's Hospital of Philadelphia, 2020. Placing restrictions on 16 and 17-year-old drivers through systems like graduated driver licensing, GDL, reduces distracted driving by limiting their driving exposure, especially during high-risk conditions such as nighttime or driving with teen passengers. These restrictions reduce the amount of unsupervised driving when teens are most prone to distraction. Research shows GDL law reduces crashes by about 20% among 16-year-olds by limiting risky situations and promoting safer driving habits before granting full licensure at 18. This staged approach lowers crash risk tied to inexperience and distracted driving, ultimately saving lives and improving teen driver safety nationwide. And Allow me to reiterate our plan. Congress will pass a law establishing 18 as the minimum unrestricted licensing age nationwide. States will retain the authority and the age requirement for the learner's permit and the hardship license. Learner's permits must be held at least a year and a half before getting a provisional license. Permit or provisional holders cannot drive out of state. All teens under 18 must complete a supervised GDL program to get their permit and provisional license. The minimum supervised driving hours must exceed 150 hours, 20 of which must take place after sunset. States will have 2 years to comply. Teens 18 and older can get full unrestricted licenses without a permit or provisional license, but they must successfully complete and pass the driver's test. Our agency is the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration. Funding, NHTSA will continue to fund GDL programs to ensure effective driving education. And enforcement will be monitored by the local, state, and police departments. From the USA.gov, I quote, "Currently, variation in driving laws creates confusion and safety gaps, as teens licensed in one state can drive unrestricted in others with stricter rules. A uniform federal legal driving age of 18 eliminates these inconsistencies, promoting fairness for all teens and simplifying enforcement for authorities nationwide." End quote. Establishing a federal uniform legal driving age of 18 would standardize expectations and safety nationwide. It simplifies law enforcement by giving police clear, consistent authority regardless of state borders and reduces legal ambiguity for families. Moreover, uniformity improves national data collection on crashes and driver safety, enabling better policy responses. Observation 4, advantages. Our advantage is increase of experience. Practice and supervision during the early stages of learning to drive build the skills and confidence young drivers need to handle challenging situations on the road safely. NHTSA.gov. With more restrictions and experience, crash rates will significantly be reduced because 16 and 17-year-old teens will be more mature and able to resist distraction. Advantage 2 is more maturity. By the time teens graduate high school, 18, their mental health dramatically improves, making it much safer to independently operate a car. Because the teen's maturity increases with age, they can resist distractions better than younger drivers. Their level of maturity increases with more experience. They are able to respond to hazards on the road better, which therefore decrease the number of injuries and fatalities. In conclusion, establishing a uniform federal legal driving age of 18 will save countless lives and create safer roads nationwide. Adopting our plan will save lives and help better society. At age 18, teens are much more mature and able to drive responsibly. On the other hand, because 16-year-olds are immature, irresponsible, and susceptible to distractions, they cannot drive as safely. Evidence shows that 16-year-olds are more likely to crash than 18-year-olds. With fewer distractions and better preparation, crash risk decreases dramatically, protecting not only teens, but drivers, but everyone on the road. Okay, thank you. I'm now ready for cross-examination.
Don't the states have the constitutional right to decide the driving age?
They do.
So by making them change it, you would be taking away that right.
Well, they still get to decide the permit and provisional license. They don't get to decide the full licensure because the full licensing age, because if one state license gives a teen a full license at 16, another state might not do that until 18, but that 16-year-old can drive in another state, even though in that state they're not allowed to drive until 18.
You also said that at 18, they only need to pass the test to get their license. Yes? Then they would have like hardly any experience.
Well, they can get a permit and provisional license first. They don't have to, but I think most would.
What if they don't?
They still have to pass the test.
Would they have any experience?
Well, if they don't have experience, they won't be able to pass the test.
Does being 2 years older make you automatically way more mature?
It will make you more mature because people mature the older they get.
How will the military be able to deal with 17-year-olds not being able to drive themselves around?
I think the 17-year-olds can get a hardship license if they need to for the military. That's in our plan.
No further questions?
Wait 1 second, starting now. Eight minutes starting now. The affirmative sounds like 18-year-olds are just given licenses, but they need to pass a test and go to the GDL, which both they agree and my partner quoted, is working and bringing down crashes as we speak, crash rates as we speak. Because of this, the AFS plan is unneeded. Additionally, it's unconstitutional to have this plan because you're taking away the freedom of the people to drive. Because everything that is not mentioned in the Constitution is the state's right to decide what to do for each state different. They said that different ages in different states is a problem, but they didn't explain why. And driving in New York is different than driving for West Virginia. Some places require more experience and starting from a younger age. And those are that 18-year-olds are driving with a permit, but they don't need to pass. They don't need to have the license. They just need to pass a test. And so this is just delaying the accident, not avoiding it. And they also said that the states will be under like a uniform constitution. However, it is their choice to decide what age. I'm not ready for cross-examination.
Preventing injury and loss of life are the most important things, right?
Correct.
Would you agree that even if our plan only saves one life, it is still worth doing?
Yes, but what if it's already being taken care of?
What matters more, saving lives or letting a 16-year-old drive with no restrictions?
Saving lives, but what if the plan is already being addressed and it is working like you said?
Would you agree that with the state of New York that allowing a 16-year-old to drive unsupervised at night in a place as complex and dangerous as New York City poses significant safety risks?
Not really.
You don't think it's dangerous for a 16-year-old who just got their license to drive by themselves at night in New York City?
Not if the people who instructed them did their job.
What if they were instructed in someplace like South Dakota.
Then that wouldn't be the child's fault, it'd be whoever taught them's fault.
Are you aware, though, that this can happen in the current system?
Yes, but therefore it is not the age of the child, it is how they're educated.
So you'd agree that this creates a loophole allowing out-of-state 16-year-old to drive and circumventing or bypassing local driving restrictions, wouldn't you?
Well, if they're taught properly, then there'd be no need.
Wouldn't it be safer to have a uniform legal driving age for unrestricted licenses across all states?
It'd be unneeded, and not really.
The prefrontal cortex, responsible for impulse control and decision making, is more developed in an 18-year-old than a 16-year-old. Yes or no?
Yes.
Do you acknowledge that the graduated driver licensing programs, which include supervised practice and restrictions, help reduce teen crashes?
Yes.
Wouldn't you agree that requiring a longer permit phase before licensure helps teens gain crucial driving experience safely?
Yes.
Are you aware that is what we're doing in our plan?
But you also said that you're moving up when you can. You never said anything about when you get the permit, only the license.
States can decide the permit. Is it fair to say that without a uniform legal age, enforcement becomes difficult because police officers must interpret different state rules when a teen is driving across state lines?
Well, they'd be accustomed to the state they were in, so not really. That's
No,
fine.
but-
That works. Yeah, one time.
Studies show graduate.
Okay, one more time.
That concludes our final debate for the semester. So, good job, guys. We're happy to have that behind us. You guys did amazing. You did really good.
Definitely take off some points.
Oh, I know.
Yes. I'm Mr. Harsh. What did I do? Okay. Okay. JJ.
We do run. We're going to go all night until They have adult classes. That's
you want us to pick up chairs or things?
That would be great. But